Let me remove this. Welcome to DevKami 221. This is a prime number episode. Where's Chi Leong? As usual, he's more busy than most of us, so he won't be joining us today. So I'm swimming.
I am Tristan.
Yep. So let's start. So how's been you guys been doing last week?
Well, good. We had the Ruby meetup. I don't think we put it on the calendar because we only confirmed like the week before, so
Yeah.
we weren't able to put there. But yeah, it was a quite largish crowd. Maybe I have a picture. I don't know. Do I have a picture?
Cool. Share it.
Then
Share it.
I can put it here. Where is my yeah? While I'm looking for it, do you want to continue
So
on? I'll look for this first.
we don't have much event other than Tech Up as usual.
Mm-hmm.
This week is actually one of those holiday heavy weeks. So after last week's holiday, we have one next, the week after next week. I know because I use up my carryover leave, carryover leave that week. So yeah, so we don't have much event until the big one is actually we may have Google I/O, but I forget to put the calendar here. Then otherwise we don't have anything happen until next month. PyCon 2023,
Mm.
PyCon Malaysia
Oh,
2023.
but so do I have to open oh, okay. I can't just share a picture. I
Oh,
have
don't
to
worry
open it
about
and
that.
then share the window. Okay, that's strange. Okay, anyway,
Yeah.
window here, image viewer. Are you able to see it?
Okay, it's loading. Ooh, it's
Yeah.
better than last time,
Uh,
which is good.
yeah, we have a few people here.
Uh-huh.
So let me get this. It's a wide.
So
Yeah.
are these new companies or people from previous company that decide to join the
Yeah.
community more and all that?
I don't know. I don't recognize a number of them. They probably well, there are a few people I recognize from before, but some of them are uh like new to me at least.
Okay.
So like these people, some of them are from CoinGecko, some of them are from I don't know. Like someone was from Cyberjaya. He said someone was previously from Fave, but not anymore. I forgot. So yeah.
Okay. It
Mm.
might make sense
Yeah.
though because okay, it might make sense because I suspect maybe some people do live in Cyberjaya and there's a train
Mm-hmm.
now. There's an
Mm-hmm.
indirect train now. Indirect to your place because you have to the train go all the way. You need to switch actually. You need to switch from KL, then switch another train, then drop at, then take the LRT to your place. It's a two train switch, like it's not too bad.
Yeah.
Except it's
Mm-hmm.
very far. It's actually very far. So maybe somebody from Cyberjaya will go to your place. So it makes sense. And it also makes sense because it means more opportunity for people to go both sides
Mm-hmm.
of the event. Because it used to be if we set up event in Cyberjaya where it's still relevant, it's actually very hard to go.
Yeah.
Uh, Nowadays, I'm not sure whether how relevant is Cyberjaya now, other than the fact that MMU is still there, and that's about it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, uh, it's quite fast to get there, so
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's a
It's quite
plus. But
fast,
it's
correct,
just that yeah, as long as the living conditions are not as good as the ones in KL, people will still go to KL. Yeah,
correct.
because KL has a
Except,
lot of the things, like a lot of the malls, a lot of the uh,
correct.
places to go to. Cyberjaya is really, at least from the last time I was there, it's really like place to. It's an industrial. Uh, I would not industrial in terms of factory, but yeah, in terms of information industrial thing. Like you
Correct.
go there to work, not to live your life.
Yes.
But I think they're changing it
So
soon.
recently they tried to build a few places for people to go, and it connected
Mm.
through the new MRT system. It's more bearable now in
Mm.
terms of living. Uh, for some, it's an optional because uh, the the cost of living in Cyberjaya at that time, the house is still cheap. Nowadays, not so
Yeah,
much anymore because of this.
yeah.
So Oh yeah,
Well, if you
that
bought property in Cyberjaya at that time, then yeah, you'll be. I mean,
correct,
I think if you buy property anywhere in 10 years, it will always be better. So that's just how
correct,
real estate works.
correct. So that is happening. So I'm gonna
Mm,
switch around. There's whole
yeah.
reason why I'm talking about PyCon. It's next month, but for some reason the page is not up yet. They didn't start selling the ticket, which I think is really,
Mm,
I don't know what happened, but it's happening in a way that the CFP is done
mm,
and I actually got selected. We're going to talk more about that later, right?
yeah.
So
Do you want me to talk about? I also got selected as a prize winner.
which what event?
Ah, the competition. What they call the
Oh no, the
Cyclone one.
cycling competition. Yes, we definitely talk
Yeah,
about
yeah.
that. Prepare your
Mm.
page and show
I don't
show
have
us
a
more about that
page.
later.
I don't have a page. It's I have the stuff. They sent me the prize.
Okay, you know what? Show the physical
Mm.
stuff. That
Yeah.
is more
So
solid.
I yeah
That
they so this is the Pico their new product. Oh no, it's too bright.
is
Let me
this a
turn
new
it down.
one or is the old one?
Yeah,
Let
it's
me
the new one.
post mine.
Ah, how come? Sorry, let me get
Yep.
the light adjusted. It's very reflective. Okay, there you go. So
Yep.
this is the new one. So this is similar in design to the RP2040 that they had
Correct.
before, but
Yep.
now you can see that there's like a double row pin, right? Because now
Yep.
you have the option to put your own Pico, or you can use a
Ah.
Pico W. So that means you can have like Wi-Fi on here.
Yep.
So this is great
Yep.
for robotics because you
Mm-hmm.
have where is this like the servo control already out. You have
Ah.
your like different kinds of in, so 6 volts in, or you have LiPo with a I
Yep.
think there's a charge controller, and you
Yep.
have like motor. Well, the usual motor stuff. So they used to have like this add-in card called the Maker. I forgot the one
Yeah.
that
They
has
make a board that
servo.
actually have all these, right?
Yeah, the
And they
servos.
even
It's easy
bundle.
because hmm?
They
What did you
one
say?
of the version even comes with the RP. It's actually had a on. It's actually powered by RPD40 itself,
Yeah.
2040
So
itself, right?
because no, they used to have an add-on card before Raspberry Pi 2040
Okay.
where it's like this. So it's just integrated into one package with the RP 2040. Sorry, not the RP 24, but the Pi Pico X separate, right? And then
Yeah.
because you have your buttons, so like this is for motors. So you have
Yeah.
an H I forgot an H
H
drive,
bridge.
An H bridge
Yeah.
built in, so you don't have to wire it yourself. You don't have to mess with transistors and all of these things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then of course you have buttons to test quickly, like is your
Yeah.
like is it upside down, for example, or the
Correct.
other way around, and you can test it without having to write code on there. And then of
Mm-hmm.
course as soon as you get all of your motors and your servos connected, then just put this in, and it's a very uh, small package, so it
Yeah.
usually just it's also quite light, so you can put
Correct.
it on top of your robot project, and if this has Wi-Fi, then
Mm-hmm.
you can control it over Wi-Fi. Although
Correct.
I'm thinking of like a projects for this. I don't know yet what I'm going to be doing, but yeah, of course you have your Grove ports as well here. If you want
Mm-hmm.
your own thing, you have your GPIO ports, like all of
Yeah.
them broken out, so that's
Mm-hmm.
quite nice. It's quite difficult to find uh, like boards that break out everything. And so of course
Yeah.
you have your usual like LEDs that light up
Yes.
whenever a GPIO port is used, which is also very useful for debugging. Like,
Correct.
are you actually calling the correct port, or like the correct GPIO pin, or are you confused with the naming of the pin, or like you were cross-eyed and you didn't see the correct
Mm-hmm.
silk screen. Yeah, yeah, and of course, like the usual buzzers and the NeoPixels and all of these things. That's good. So
Let
that's the
me.
RoboPico.
Yep.
I also got a package for the Raspberry Pi. This one. So this is the Pi
Oh.
400. It's
Yep.
everything included, like the power supply. I don't have the mouse. It's like the cheap mouse that they
Yeah.
have.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
the Raspberry mouse. That would
Yep.
be nice if I. But I already have those. I actually have the set already. So this is my second one.
Yep.
They have a SD card reader, of course, the
Mm-hmm.
maker disc. So
Yep.
it's all complete. The HDMI cable, but I already put it in together with all of the other HDMI cables that I have,
Uh-huh.
which is the micro. one, so it fits the Pi 400, and so
Yeah.
yeah, that's the whole thing. Plus like 200 ringgit in cash transferred. It's not
Yeah, I
bad. It's not bad.
yeah, I
But
was
this
thinking
the
it's
Pi
actually pretty
package is only like
generous as a
400.
price. It's
Yeah, you
actually
should
generous
have joined.
price.
You should have joined because I feel that whatever you have done should I because some of the people, so the competition was a bit sad because I think there's only three that was really interesting. So the
Yeah,
winner, which was an actual robot, which I understand that they won because Cytron is uh, primarily about robotics. That like
yeah,
their
correct,
slogan is robot from head to foot or something, head to toe or
correct,
whatever, right? And I understand like this is aside from the competition, it's also a marketing push. So I understand that
correct.
he won the thing, but then there's my sous vide machine. Then there's the
Yeah,
other one doing IoT in a farm,
yeah,
automatically feeding chickens. So those
yep,
three I thought were interesting. The other winners were not. I thought there were like those are things that you can always find on YouTube. Like, it's not. It's a project, but
yep,
it's not something interesting, I would say, right?
yeah, correct.
And so I
It's
thought that
those
if
that
you,
competed, right? In this case.
yeah, yeah. So I like I thought if you would have joined, you would have definitely won something. But
Yeah, but I
they
don't
need
have
some
it.
help with whatever it is that they're doing with competitions. Like they need like the support for the competition, like
Yes.
they need more regular competitions because they didn't like the quality of the submissions I think were could be better, but if this
Yep.
was a more regular, then people like, oh, okay, I'll prepare for the competition in 6 months and I'm going to be winning that. 'Cause right now you only have like 2 weeks to do something. It's not, uh, and it's like, oh, okay, uh, I didn't hear about it. But if, for example, they had a competition every month, and I know they will
Yep.
be having a competition anyway in 6 months, I'm already going to
Yep.
start preparing, thinking of an idea about that. So it could be better. I wish they would have more of these, and yeah, if they
Mhm.
had more, then I will be joining.
Yeah, I
So I'm
probably
already
have
thinking
something
of
in
one
mind
for this.
too.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think they might be having a bit more. So
Hmm.
if they have a competition for the Pi 2040, then sorry, this Robo Pico, they call it
Hmm.
the Robo Pico. So here, I don't know. You
Yeah,
can
yeah,
read it.
yeah.
It
Huh?
says Robo Pico. If they have one, then I'm going to be uh, thinking of an interesting thing. So I treat this like hackathons. Hackathons, I
Yeah.
mean, if you have a hackathon that just does like a blog, for example, then it's
Hmm.
not going to be interesting, right? But you need something special. So
Correct.
yeah, let's see.
I like this idea. But the thing is, I don't want to just like add a personality engine and call it a new project. I want something
Mhm.
more,
Yeah.
more this. But I like this board. One of the things that I really respect about Cytron in terms of hardware is that they literally have everything ready except that because all this motor does cost money, so you can't give it for free.
Mm-hmm.
So this thing plus the box, make some hole on it, you get yourself a robot. Really,
Yeah.
and I mean, the servos is not expensive per se, but it's just that it's not something you can just give for free. But once you have that stick together, you get yourself a robot, and that's
Mm-hmm.
it. It's very easy to do. I really respect that, and also I also respect that in a way that because they are a big, their mission started from supporting Robocon as
Mm.
a small industry, right? That's one of the first thing they do. Until nowadays, school have that. The Malaysian education system upgraded the life skill training, which I think is really pity because that life skill training is very useful for life, but they do it. They focus on the technical part of it, which is arguably very useful, but there's more to that. Lah. So either way,
Mm.
as a result, the Malaysian school have their own robotics club and all that because it's possible for all the school to have it now. It used to
Mm-hmm.
be robotics club in school is a very elite stuff. So yeah, and they're supporting them now. So I understand the mission, right? They really
Yeah.
support the bit. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to testing this. Maybe I have something by that time. Let's see. Nowadays, I'm distracted by multiple stuff, but more on that later.
Mm.
So, shall we quickly cover the news and try to find some
Yeah.
interesting stuff in between?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
let's quickly cover the news. Da, da, da. I'm going. I'm going to get rid of a lot of stuff. Okay, I'm going to get rid. Uh, I'm only choose some random one. Random one. Da, da. Then even that I might throw away quite a few things. And go. Okay, so let's quickly go through the cool stuff. Something that I forget last week is actually 2 weeks back is the Arduino Uno R4.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Citron is going to sell it.
correct, they will
You
because
can you can check the
pre-order.
pricing on their page. Yeah, you can
Yeah,
check the pricing. It's about
let me
115 for the minima.
let me find it. Arduino. They should have it. They have a lot. Of, they
I
even
can,
have
yeah, search for Arduino R4.
Arduino
R4, Arduino
R4.
R4. Yeah, search for it. Yeah, the
Yeah,
first
here
one.
120 plus. But this minima though. Oh,
Hey,
that
why do you
comes
have
with
120? Mine
no
is
minima.
115. Why do you have
Okay.
why do you have it cheaper? Why do I have it cheaper? Because my
Yeah.
account probably is a maker account, maybe. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah,
I
maybe
don't
it's
know.
that. So back order the
I have
is
a
it comes in September,
discount.
151 ringgit. Malaysian currency is
Mm,
horrible recently.
mm.
I do not blame them. So interestingly, this is the core is powered by Renesas. It's actually an ARM CPU for
Oh, almost
microcontroller.
everything is ARM now. A lot
Yeah.
like
So
ARM was it's a big like what do you call this? The this instruction set is taking over a lot of things.
correct,
Like you have CPUs and ARM in
correct,
server farms. Oracle has an ARM cloud
correct.
thing. Mm.
The real interesting thing is they use the ESP32S as the
S3
modem.
even the
Yeah, which
better.
is I find really
Uh,
interesting.
well, they say it's good because you offload all the Wi-Fi SSL processing to a separate chip.
Correct,
Then your main chip is actually doing all of the whatever
correct,
GPIO wrangling, right?
correct,
So it's good. It's almost like having a dual core thing.
correct,
One is just concerned with Wi-Fi and all of the
correct.
encryption and all of that thing. Then
Yes.
you have your actual stuff to do.
The thing is, ESP to the S3 is very powerful. They even claim to do some
Mm.
tiny ML stuff on board,
Yeah.
which I say is very interesting. But it is you are correct because ESP32 are designed for network connectivity. For this, even
Hmm.
Bluetooth, even right. So which make a lot of sense. A lot of more stuff. For example, they have 24-volt resistance, expanded memory. It's a beefier version than the Arduino that most of us know of. Even
It's
HID by
a
default now.
very industrial focused because
Correct.
apparently lots of industrial tools and machinery operate on 24 volts, like when your
Correct.
switches on all of your signaling, because it's a
Correct.
huge place, right? You need to be able to drive or at least receive signals from those sensors. So
Correct.
this is a good way to prototype for industrial as well. You
Correct.
prototype on that, and then once you deploy to production, because it works on the Renesas chip, then
Yep.
you also buy a Renesas chip. That's also good
Yeah.
marketing for the chip.
Uh, it's more like okay. So Arduino as a company have a PLC product which you can program on Arduino. Okay.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
you can prototype on this and transfer on board toward it.
yes. So Arduino is what we see as hobbyists is really just like a tip of the iceberg. Like a lot of these
Correct.
things are really present on industrial uh, applications. So you have a lot of DIY, but when these
Mm,
people like these are the ones that are in our sphere, right? But a
correct.
lot of the like these Atmel chips, there are many variations of that which are actually found in your washing machines or in your
Correct.
fridges, in your microwaves. So
Automotive
they're actually
actually.
being automotive, yeah, especially
Yeah.
automotive. There's a lot of there's a lot of technology like microchip technology in automotive. Also Renaissance
Correct.
technology.
And also you can even do canvas by default now, which is
Yeah,
interesting. It used to
because
be like
apparently
canvas only.
Renaissance chips are the thing for automotive, and so
Correct.
they just bring the same capabilities to Arduino now. Might be interesting. So you might have like an Arduino inside your dashboard, like
Yep.
as prototyping. I don't know how legal that is because once you mess with your car canvas, right? Like you can always change things. Remember, like
Yeah.
when you're a lot like this, it's whatever is happening in your car, think of it like just like software. You can change things. It's
Mhm.
there's no encryption on canvas. Like if
Correct.
it's a
It's
very
not.
broadcast thing,
Yeah.
you either you listen to it and then you can send your own signals as well, so you can control a lot of things. It's just that
Correct.
because it's a car, it's under the hood, you don't see it. It's not very difficult to get to, but it's there's like this pin out that it's not usually done
Mhm.
by consumers, but your automotive technician will know how to do it. So it's
Correct.
not as popular to mod, but
Mm.
yeah, now might be a new wave of hobbyists trying to modify their cars. I mean, there is already a niche group that does that. It might be
Yeah.
even larger now.
And also, okay, so off topic to Canvas. Canvas is how some of the so-called AI, automotive driving company get things try to introduce to existing cars by Canvas
Hmm.
actually. So with that said,
Yeah,
if you're interested, Citron have it soon. Uh, in September, you can get it. Okay, to support our local company, and more importantly, because I mean, I know, getting yourself is actually more expensive anyway. So I'm going to move
yeah. So
on and
I
say,
I doubt there will be like clones immediately for this. That's why it's. I mean, this is the price of an original Arduino. Uh,
correct.
uh, the clones are like 10% of the price, but then that's
Yeah,
because the chip was so popular that it's just a supply and demand. There's just a lot of supply, that's why it's cheaper. But this one, because the supply is not going to be that large yet, so
hmm,
I mean the ESP32S3 is already quite expensive. It's already like
yeah,
half the price of this board, so
correct,
I doubt that you'll find a clone of the same price as you would find a clone like nowadays.
correct, correct. So I'm going to move on quickly, and I'm going to be selective about what we talk about
Hmm.
because our Godot 4.1 is out. So this is an open source game engine. I do not use it as much, but it's one of those engines that you can easily run on Linux to build your own game and all that. Yeah, I'm going to move. Anything to add? If not,
No,
going ahead. Uh, Martin Fowler, building product by AI. So
well, it's not. I mean, it's on the website, but it's not written by Martin Fowler. I think
oh, what?
it's not written by Martin Fowler.
No,
The
no, it's
website is
by,
Martin Fowler.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's Martin Fowler. It's actually by the people in ThoughtWorks actually,
yeah,
because under his brand name, then he had contributor from
yeah.
ThoughtWorks actually contribute to it.
Mm.
So a lot of this is about how you would build build a build assistance system and how it works. So this is actually a product that they have, and this is actually to simulate a different a different application. So you use a prompt to actually try to generate things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is actually explain how they build it and all that, because I won't say that building large language model will be a big thing, but it they probably have enough thing in the future. So trend
Mm.
wise is similar to blockchain in terms of jobs, right? Capability wise, I'm more bullish about this one simply because I find this more useful than blockchain. But that's
Yeah,
just me.
I feel still that blockchain is what we call this, still a technology that's trying to find a use,
Yeah,
like for legitimate use, but people have already confirmed that like at least these generative language models have its uses, and so now just improve on it. Yeah, it doesn't. It's not the same with blockchain though. Still need to
correct.
find a, a legitimate use case that other more efficient, cheaper technologies don't do yet. So
Yes,
that's
correct.
that's the blockchain's problem.
So this one is, yeah, this idea generator. I think I like it. It doesn't claim that it knows. It doesn't name that it knows everything. It just a way for them to process the data.
Hmm.
So this done. This one. Do you know Braden Gregg?
No.
Okay, this guy is the performance architect of Netflix. So he's
Mm-hmm.
a performance person, and he wrote a book. In fact, he wrote two books. One is called System Performance, and that recently read, and he had another one on the same series, quote unquote again. That is have a focus on eBPF. So when he say about this, I would believe him because he knows what he's doing. He's the reason why Netflix goes fast and all that. So this actually explain CPU utilization is misleading, and the reason because certain I/O map rating, memory map rating, etc. So this give you a perfect. This give a very good explanation with command to show you why you may need to check something else, not just CPU utilization.
Mm-hmm.
So here you are. It can be temperature trip. It might be bursting and all that. Uh, it can be right, but uh, the utilization as metric is broken. Okay, so here you are. CPU utilization is a misleading metrics. It includes weighting on main memory, which can dominate modern workload. So it should be renamed to cycles. Then you need to use additional metrics for this, or for your performance metrics. You cannot just rely on CPU anymore. It's just not that good as a metrics for performance.
Yeah.
So yeah, anything to add? If not, I'm gonna move on.
No.
Okay, so I'm going to call this the last one. So this is actually engineer side of the Apple Macintosh story. So it actually started by Jim Raskin. Then from there, it's focused on engineer, and the whole thing is Steve Jobs exists to manage the project, so to say, because he actually failed on the Lisa project.
Mm.
Then and he had to prove himself as a business, so he's not that important on this case. But the engineers really try to push the idea as much as possible because in between it's not just a design problem because of they have a design limitation of expectation of how UI work and the type of CPU that they have to actually be very smart. I try to find the segment. They have to be very smart about how the system resource management work because they use on the 68,000 Motorola 68,000, which do have limitation actually.
Mm.
So so it talk about how they handle all that lah. It's actually a very good story actually, and how things work. So yeah, uh, anything I add? If not, I'm gonna move on to the last thing.
No, no.
Okay, I'm going to try to find the last thing. Jagged array. I like this one, but not important. Cloudback CPU. Nah, not that. Platform engineering. Okay, what do you know about platform engineering?
No, nothing much.
It's DevOps and more. Okay, it's DevOps and more. What do you mean? So in a company, used to have the traditional sysadmin where you just run servers and deploy stuff, to DevOps, which is essentially you build things so that the engineers, it's not a real role. You're not supposed to be a real role, but in practice, you're building stuff to help engineers to deploy more autonomously in theory,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now you
Mm-hmm.
had a new thing on top. I don't know how many level, but you have one more thing on top. It's called platform engineering. It's essentially the internal team to help you to help the engineer build project. So in this case, they help you. They decide that this is how you build your application, and this is the script to help you build it. This is how this is how we spin up our AWS. Do it this way. Everything ready for you. We only support this version of Python. So it's not. It's here. It's DevOps in a way, but it's also to help developers build stuff. So you're teaching them that this is how you deploy your Rails application. Do not use this
Mm.
package because of security, or this package is too slow. Don't use this. Or for example, your worker system, right? Your
Mm-hmm.
worker. So the Rails worker system is support Redis, for example, right? And you
Yeah.
may say that, okay, we don't support Redis anymore because we have a more proper message system in form of SQS, and this is how you do this. We have the configuration. So this is what platform engineering is about. It's about supporting the organization. Uh, it's another buzzword, but
Yeah.
uh, it's not just do service, because you also find a problem and simplify it. So in a way, you are building a product, but your product is not necessarily okay. So there is Google style DevOps, where they ends up building a whole clustering management, build system, and all that.
Mm.
Smaller team, you're more likely like sysadmin that give advisory and scripts, okay, to
Mm-hmm.
spin up stuff, right? So instead of
Mm-hmm.
letting the engineer say, I'm deploying a worker, we're going to use Redis, and the sysadmin say, okay, go ahead. Uh, Platform engineering are there to say no, and this is how you do it, and this is the configuration. Or even sometimes even like, okay, this is the set of package that we support with this configuration. So this is what platform engineering
Mm.
is about.
Mm-hmm.
Very important for bigger organization, uh, and also higher level, because you're not just building tools, you're building product, except product is not necessarily code, but it does have code on it. So yeah, you should learn on it. It's actually very cool. It's a one new thing. So with that said, I want to show off.
Mm.
So uh, my talk for PyCon Malaysia is accepted.
Yeah.
PyCon Malaysia is happening in August.
Mm-hmm. What are you talking about?
August, yeah, it's next month, but they didn't even start selling ticket yet.
Mm.
So I don't know what happened. But out of my hand, I'm not the organizer now. Uh, so tr- uh, traditionally, PyCon in Malaysia, as in traditionally, aka when I run it, it's about Python. We don't care who you are. You have to do work on Python and something interesting. If you can show best practice, awesome. If you want to show how things work, awesome. What I want is people to learn, right? So in this case, so that happened, but for some reason, oh well. So this is the topic that I'm doing,
Mm-hmm.
image segmentation model and how they are used. And I'm going to use you guys, whoever that listen here, to ask question and what do you want to know. Now here's the
Mm.
context. For the past few months, can you see, right? For the
Yeah.
past few months, this is what I have been building for my team.
Mm-hmm.
It's an automatic segmentation tool. So what it means that it really segment part of the object, right? In this case, we generate polygons for annotations
Yeah.
automatically, right? So this is how it is about, lah. But of course, we don't just like build this and get this. For this thing, contain front end and back end component, and also data science component for I call this the Magic One project, and the adjunct there's something on top that we work on that later. So yeah, lah. And this thing works because of a thing called, let me copy the URL properly. Segment everything meta. La la la. Of the thing I keep talking about for a long time lah. So we essentially integrate this as a product. All right, we essentially integrate
Mm-hmm.
this as a product. Uh, so did I put it in right tab? I put it in right tab. So what? So let's say if I want to give a talk on this, what do you want to know? And
Mm. Like, what would be the use cases, and
uh,
like how simple would it be for someone to start it? Like, because the problem there is because personally, I don't know what, I mean, it's cool, but I don't know how I would use it, right? Like, what are, like,
okay,
if I don't know how other people are using it, I won't have my own ideas of how to use it
okay,
myself. That's the
okay, okay,
problem.
okay. So so let's start with what this tool is about. This tool is actually about image segmentation, meaning this problem is actually very hard. So for example, I give you a hand, right? there is
Mm-hmm.
a distinct shape of the hand. So the problem with uh, data annotation is that how do you separate this thing manually so they can identify as an
Mm-hmm.
object, right?
Yeah.
That this is a hand. Then the fan behind me, assume that my fan is static. How do you know? How do you differentiate a fan from the wall and from the thing? So which is why for data annotation, until now we have to use human to actually
Mm.
draw this shape out. And these are actually very useful application outside of data annotation. So for example, let's say you want to cut an object from your photos, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You want to use cool. I have okay. I have a switch on me. That's a very distinct, right? And switch on the screen is actually maybe an interesting game with artwork. You want to like, yeah, the photo on it, but you want to trace it as an artwork, but you need to have a copy of it, right? So you
Mm-hmm.
can cut it out and take it for artwork. So one of the things that my coworker had done, not for data annotation with this model, is uh, slides because you want to cut out people's face without the background
Mm-hmm.
to make memes and all that. So there's a lot of reason why image segmentation model exists. Uh, Traditionally, you have to, even in Photoshop before this, you have to draw the line to cut off the object out, right?
Yeah.
uh, this thing promise that you don't have to cut as much. You get a good enough outline, you just clean it and you can use it in your artwork, photoshopping, slides and all that, or use it to apply your stuff on the screen, right? For your
Mm-hmm.
game and whatnot. But for us, we use this for data annotation. The reason is to train a machine learning model. We don't care. We don't care about the road, for example. We only care about the car, and we want to make our model, the customer's model in this case, to identify between the car in front and the car at the back, right? So
Mm-hmm.
this is why this is why drawing the precise object shape is very, very useful and very important.
But if it's doing it in real time, then like even 8 seconds is too slow. This is just for pictures.
No, we are not doing it real time. We are doing it to
Yeah.
extract data.
Ah,
So
okay.
what we do is because we don't have real time consequences. What we use this
Mm.
for is to extract the polygon, because
Yeah.
we had a thing called Coco file. So okay, forget about specific file, image annotation file. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
what they do is they actually have an object and a list of coordinates. Okay, a list of coordinates to show them this is the polygon, so that your machine learning model knows that for this instance of image, cutout image, is
Mm-hmm.
uh, is an instance of this class. So what this segmentation does is it cut out the image, but they do not know what class, what type of object is this, right?
Yeah.
So we do not
Mm-hmm.
still had a job, but this actually save time in a way that we can use human can identify stuff easily and try to get an outline of this. Then we try to clean it up, lor. So, but so this is what we do, and to do that we use a machine learning model. We use a deep learning model for this, and we call this, our project is called Salsa, but Facebook call this segment anything model, or SAM.
Mm.
Okay, SAM. Uh, in good hardware, in a very good hardware, because that one is actually runs on this thing is let's say you have a very beefy hardware, it's actually possible for you to cut live. Okay, uh,
Yeah.
I managed to do it on the demo, but I did not see anybody manage to do it. But uh, plenty of people actually use model on top of this with extra enhancement as part of their research, so that you can do a segmentation live. Which I suspect is very useful because you can use this for AR. So
Mm-hmm.
you put it on the glass, good enough hardware, fast enough response, assuming you can replace object on the wall. You can on your goggles look at the billboard, do custom ads for people. I don't know. That's horrible use case, but that's what happened. Or
Mm.
You can have an AR NPC that know that there's a person there and you don't override them so easily, right? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so this how it works, but to deploy this, uh, it's not trivial, of course, because this model take 20 seconds. 20 second on 20 second on the user experience for user experience, actually very horrible. 8 seconds actually
Mm-hmm.
push it, to be honest. So for example, so I'm going to show you something on the demo. Uh, that, oh, sorry. I properly read it. So, so they have a thing. This demo is done to that. There is like us everything.
Mm-hmm.
Everything we found out that is not really that good because they missed something. For this case, of course, it's awesome. But for example, we don't care about the blue stuff here, okay? The small blue
Yeah.
stuff on the screen. So we don't actually care about that. In fact, often we only care about the dot. That's how we work, which is why
Yeah.
they have a hover and click feature and a box type feature. That's what we use as the model.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so we are not using segment everything model yet. We use segment anything, just one object at a time. Okay. Uh, and as a result, I want you to imagine that back to demo again. Let's find something with multiple objects. I hate. Oh, it's the acknowledgement. And horse. Okay, horse. So let's say I want to draw a horse, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is actually the demo looks fast because it's reprocessed. But let's say I want to draw a horse. I can do this, but it will have a lot of stuff that I don't care about. For example, okay,
Yeah.
uh, it's a bit slow, but if I do, I'm going to refresh this one. Back to horse again. You guys suck at interaction. I'm so sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to use the hover. I'm going to use hover.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this. No, I'm sorry. I'm going to use a box. I'm going to do this. Okay. The reason it's fast on this demo is because it's already pre-processed. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
it's already pre-processed. More on that later. More on that later. But the code that Facebook gave us, Meta gave us, is not pre-processed. So meaning every time we draw a box, it takes 20 seconds.
Yeah.
It takes 20 seconds to run. 20 seconds really push it very far. All right, it's a bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
So we do not want that. Okay, we do not want that. So as a result, we hack the code a bit, and we do a pre-processing step, and then the inference step as a worker. Uh, and this how, which is why it's actually amazing that we can do 8 seconds for the first place.
Well,
For
where is it running? Is it running locally or on their servers?
will run on the cloud. Now, here's another cool
Mm-hmm.
thing. Facebook do have in the repository they do have a web demo. Okay, they do have a web demo.
So
Uh,
it's using
uh,
your local
correct.
resources.
No,
Mm.
web demo
Not
on the browser.
Yeah. So it's
They
not
can run on the
using like
browser, but we're not
WebAssembly or
using that.
something.
They use WebAssembly. The technique is called Onyx. The problem is Onyx as a technology is very Onyx as a technology is very, it's not new.
Mm-hmm.
Onyx on web front end alone, it's not new. It's just that not enough people use it. That we don't have the time to actually do our own research to do it correctly.
Mm.
But the main way for them to do this is actually through the Python library. Let me find.
Mm.
It's a Python library. That's the main way for you to do that. Okay. Uh,
Yeah.
And what we do is we are running it on a GPU instance, EC2 GPU instance, and we run it as a script. No, actually, we run it as a worker. Actually, it's a Python script run as a worker listening to message queue SQS. Then we serve the result as an API. So there's
Mm-hmm.
one worker to generate the embedding, the data needed, and save it somewhere. Then there's an API that do the inference.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that is something that we have to hack. I have to show the way later, right?
Mm-hmm.
What Facebook library provide is essentially, uh, give me a while. This thing, they essentially give us this command, and that's about it. This thing do end to end, okay, end to
Mm-hmm.
end, uh,
End to end meaning
generation and all that. Huh? What?
end to end. What's the other? What are the ends?
Okay, so end to end here means to for this model works by actually first calculating the embeddings, the information necessary for the model to
Mm-hmm.
work, then the inference, getting
Mm-hmm.
information and generating inference. This end and inference is end to end lah.
So
That's what I mean lah.
okay,
They do
but the
everything at one point.
data source, they do they take care of it as well?
You provide the image, and that's about it.
Mm.
Because they have behind the scene, they have another network called uh, called they have a visual transformer to generate embedding. That's the information on the image. It's essentially a neural network to extract information from an image to be used by another neural network to do inference.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, just call it that. It's a bit, which is why in my talk I have my data scientist to to go into explain because she knows that
Mm-hmm.
more than I am. But in for so if you use the API, right, reverse engineer API, you realize that they actually keep calling the backend because they already calculate the embedding at the end.
Mm-hmm.
But for us, the library that Facebook provide, essentially they do everything, right? They do everything. So we have to write code for it, lah.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the box one. I try to show you the box one. The box. So okay, this is the image that load. Then load the models. So load the class, load image, then provide the point. It can be a box, for example, then you generate lah, or you can generate, I'm trying to find the example, a box, right? So you can
Mm-hmm.
do the box as well. But the catch is they get the information, but you need to provide the image early on. So for interaction point of view, uh, people have to upload the image, wait for things to happen, load the image, wait for things to happen, then generate result, which is not what we want. Well, for in some case, that's what it's reasonable if your job, if you do a image cutting thing. But in our case, what happened is our customer upload image to be labeled, right, to be annotated.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So in this case, we should not, if possible, we should not every time our annotator load the page for the first time, then they have to calculate every time, right? That's actually bad for
Yeah.
interaction. So
Yeah.
what I did is I have a worker that split up the code, the embedding generation part as a worker. So when they upload, they do the processing so that they can the hide the calculation at the end. So that when people just do the box live, they just get the information immediately. So that's how it worked lah. And that's actually part of the presentation lah. So any question you want to know from this, because I give a lot of stuff. What would be useful for people to, and we lost him. Okay, so this is one thing, but this is not the only models exist. This is the one. This updated one. Yeah, the abstraction. Here's the problem. Yes, so the short answer is yes. The point of the presentation is to unwind the magic, because we have no choice. In this case, our annotator don't actually care. So that's a good question, all right? But that's a design problem. So we can, so it's something I'll go in as well, because magic is dangerous, but in this case, it doesn't really matter for the user. But if you're if you're an engineer, you should care. because integration with this is very important. If you do a one-time image, for example, so let's say you you upload image, you want to cut a face out for memes, then yeah, it's fine, right? The magic is fine. And also the default model is actually very good, to be honest, because I'm going to show you another code for this. La 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 la. You can retrain it, but let's say you don't have a data science person, you can tune it up to a level. La 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 la. Here you are, predictor. Send blah blah blah. Set image. Set torch image, doesn't matter. Predict. So you can tune this. You can also tune. There's not that many things to tune. It's pretty much automated. Unfortunately, more I have more opinion of that, but let's go there. So yeah, these things are hard. Okay, I'm going to admit it to you. These things hard, but here's a question that is hard. If things get completely mastered, that is not a good or bad thing. So the good news is 90% of the work on the internet is boring. You don't need a master degree for this work. All right, but here's the big but. If everyone can do the easy thing, then what will differentiate you, right? So then one of the thing is to actually learn the hard thing. The age of doing easy thing on computer is not quite, it's, well, I would say that a lot of things easy now. You don't technically need to write a lot of code. You don't need to write complex code to do very complex stuff nowadays. Hell, you don't even need to write code, but everyone can do that. Unfortunately, it also means that everyone can do that. Okay, so then what would differentiate you would be if you're one of those people that understand the magic of this thing, and this is an issue, right? But that's off topic from the talk lah. What do you think about this one?
It's complicated, I guess. I mean, again, I'm looking for use cases, but aside
Yeah, we
from
have a very
what you just
specific use case. We have a specific use case to identify the shape. It's hard to find now unless you suddenly realize something, because, so for example, right, my coworker really stumbled upon this again, then realized that, hey, this can be used to make meme. And the reason is you can cut out the
yeah
face to paste on stuff, and that's about
yeah.
it.
So those, I mean, that's one way. But what like actual things, like if this was real time, for example, right? Then you could do identification on
Yeah.
CCTV. So that's, or something like that. You can track, like you can say, oh, this person across the CCTVs, you can automatically track the movement of a
No.
package or luggage or a person across them. Then you can do that. But
Uh,
I guess this is
I'm,
just, so I'm thinking of like particular use cases. That's the thing.
I'm going to show you another paper. This one. Okay, so this is something that is on top of the segment everything model. What this call is actually what they claim is they use a zero-shot learning model, or I would call it a one-shot learning model. What they claim is that you can, if you train specific object, you can, if computer vision already had a list of known object, you train and you put it on top of this model, you can use text to identify object. In that case, that's closer to what you are, and this is the reason
Mm,
why I think this technology is very useful for AR. A lot of vision of AR is actually revolved around things like having 3D vision and all that. That may be useful, but another approach
mm.
for this is precisely this use case. This paper is called grounding dino. I
What
want you
is
to look
ground?
at the
Mm,
lion. So
mm-hmm.
what happens here is that they use click. That's actually a text to image model to identify an image. Then using segment everything model, they cut out the shapes necessary. Then with stable diffusion, plug on stable diffusion, you can replace it with a dot. Now,
Mm-hmm.
this is interesting because ads is horrible, but I'm trying to find a very good one. Okay, now this model is actually very good at looking at windows. Okay, I want you to imagine windows on a bus. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
uh, currently the whole area of the bus is actually ads and all that with goggles, because with goggles and all that. Then with AR technology, with this technology, you can segment out the big area on the bus. Now you have a whole dynamic information area on the AR glasses, right? You have
Yeah.
a more realistic way to overlay things. Then you can put useful information. This station goes to, this station pass by. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Provided the AR hardware need to be good. Okay, but yeah, it's getting there. It's getting there soon, because most of your mobile device will get more and more impressive neural processor. So another use case other than billboard is horrible, but let's say you want to turn billboard into something really useful instead of selling ads. So instead of detecting people, then you just have an overlay area using AR showing stuff, right?
Mm.
You can AR games, right? Uh, or even AR avatar. So, okay, why I like to talk about AR avatar? Because once you're able to segment something in which an object exists, then you know that how do you overlay something without interfering too much from the people, right? Then you
Yeah.
can smartly detect things. Then you can have an avatar that is more realistic, so to say, providing information to you, assistant, direction, direction. Then another one would be dashboard. Dashboard is interesting. A car dashboard, uh,
What would you
because
do with a
let's say,
dashboard? Like, is this like the recorder or something?
oh, no, 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 more like glasses. Let's assume the glasses
Ah.
as a display.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Maybe that probably can help in cars. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so yeah, having all this segmentation is actually very useful to know what you want to point of interest that is interesting, because for a start you need to know the uh, things between foreground and background, then in between the different identifying different things. People are different at certain level, at certain distance. Individual people is important. Then you know that what to do with it. Uh, then you use this thing. Okay, so what this I go back to this paper again.
Mm-hmm.
So I want you to reverse a bit, right? This time, identify different object in front of you. Then cut out the image, put it on a image identification model, right?
Yeah.
Then they can do stuff. A cool example I can think of is, let's say you had a face identification model, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so probably the model would work better if you only have a face and not a group of people, right? So having this
Oh,
to extract out the face
oh,
for you
what
can
can't you just have like it combined? You have your edge detection and object detection, and then you have your face
this
detection. I mean, it
thing
will.
is edge detection. This thing does edge detection.
Yeah. I mean, it will be like the context, for example, for image recognition would be better if you have context around it, right? Like instead of just edges, especially if it's blurred. Like your
No,
edge detection might make a mistake.
you start with edge, then you
Mm,
start with an edge, then you put it. You have an easier way to extract
mm,
face thing,
mm.
right? So
Especially
you
if you have
start with
multiple
one.
faces on a picture, I guess.
Correct, correct. So you
Mm,
use this model as a start. So the
mm,
way we use this is, we don't use this for the end of the process. We don't just use this to get a polygon. What we
mhm,
use is, we use this to select an initial polygon and clean up. Because
mhm,
as of now, this model is not good enough. This model is not good enough to generate a clean polygon. But more importantly, this model does not know what object. then this is very useful for us specifically because there is object that is not so clear. Garbage, for example, right? Let's say you identify garbage.
Yeah.
Uh, Only certain garbage comes with all sort of shape, size, and colors and all that, right? So
Mm-hmm.
some might identify as a banana, but banana in the garbage is garbage, right? So you can
Yeah.
identify the basic thing, then you just re-identify it. So you just care about there is object on your machine. So either way, it's easier this way because in a machine learning use case, pure machine learning use case, when you train a machine learning model, you have to do a polygon to get specific shape.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so this helps them, but as a result, your machine learning model only works well when they have specific shape. It works better when they have specific shape now. So its current really strong use case, really does revolve around machine learning. But I suspect AR we use this. It's just that the only hardware in the near future that can do this is actually the Apple Vision Pro.
Mm-hmm.
But that is not something to carry around. But
Yeah.
it's
Correct.
not something to carry around. But that have the power to handle this right now. So maybe in the I don't know for 2 years, hopefully Moore's law still stand. Know what I mean? So
I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah, who knows, right? But
Yeah.
uh, this is a start of a model. This is not the end of the thing. So
Mm-hmm.
you use this to extract so that you can have something else to do this. Yeah, Shiheng. Actually, Shiheng. Actually, I know this guy. So yes, but it's not as ridiculous in this case. The more ridiculous one is when people use ChatGPT to generate text to train text model. That is really silly. But this one, yeah, is a tool to help a tool. And in the future, you probably have to use a tool with an AI tool with an AI tool. It gets really ridiculous really fast. With that said, any last question from you?
No, that's mostly
And this is a
everything.
preview of the talk for PyCon. So join us. PyCon
Mm-hmm.
happening on August 26th. August 26th, where I do not know yet. Detail I do not know yet. Uh, and they currently only have last year's event. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thanks for listening, and hopefully Chilean will come next week. Who knows? It's deadline season,
Mm-hmm.
and that's it, lor. All right. Thanks for listening. I should close in. Let me close the screen and bye, guys.
Bye. See you again. See you next week.